Hello and welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm Joyce Sunas, Director of Women's Outreach for Operation Outcry Silent No More. Faces of Abortion is a program dedicated to bringing you an important truth: abortion hurts women. Join us as we hear from women across the nation speak to this truth. In their own words, they will share personal insight as to the devastation abortion has caused them and their family. Faces of Abortion is also a place of hope and understanding for those suffering from abortion trauma. Are you hurting? Stay tuned and experience the hope and forgiveness I have come to know after multiple abortions. And finally, Faces of Abortion will provide you with practical ways in which you can help end abortion today. I promise you will be moved, informed, and educated in a powerful way on this week's edition of Faces of Abortion.
Welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm your host, Molly White, and I'd like to introduce to you my co-hosts, Clayton Trotter, the General Counsel of the Justice Foundation, and Alan Parker, the President of the Justice Foundation.
This week on Faces of Abortion, you can learn about the secret sorrow of abortion. We have a very special program with Peggy, and in an unusual twist for us, a couple who's going to tell you about what abortion has done in their lives. Abortion is sold to women as a quick fix, a way to get over the problem in their life, something they'll never have to think about again. But as you talk to people who've really had abortions, years after the abortion occurred, you'll still see the pain and sorrow that it brings in their life. So join us today on Faces of Abortion.
Real-life stories from real-life women who have been hurt by abortion and are silent no more. In her own words, without interruptions or questions. It is emotional, powerful, truthful in a way that you have never seen, most likely have never heard, nor experienced.
My name is Peggy Sweeney, and I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. When I was a 19-year-old college sophomore at a university in Illinois, I discovered that I was pregnant. Abortion wasn't legal in Illinois in 1971, but the Student Health Services gave me a contact at an abortion clinic in New York because abortion was already legal in New York. So I flew to New York and had an abortion. I expected to feel only relief for having gotten rid of my problem. I expected to only feel relief afterwards, but I couldn't stop crying on the plane the whole way home back to Illinois. I found myself distanced from God and from the church, even though I couldn't admit that I had done anything wrong because our country said that it was a legal abortion. It took me 2 more abortions and 27 years to actually reach out to God and ask for His forgiveness. It took even longer to be able to forgive myself, especially since complications from my 3rd abortion required a hysterectomy. I spent 27 years in silent grief, self-incrimination, emptiness, and shame. In 1998, I decided that I would become a counselor at a crisis pregnancy center, thinking that if I could just save one mother and baby from what I had gone through, maybe I could finally forgive myself. When I sat down with the CPC director and she shared that she had had multiple abortions, I finally realized that I wasn't alone in my pain. With her help, I finally met my babies, named them, celebrated their lives, and asked them for forgiveness. I was deceived into thinking that the pregnancy was a problem. It was something to be ashamed of. It was something to hide under the covers. And since abortion had just become legal in some states, it seemed at the time like an easy solution. what I learned was that it was a horrible choice. And I suffered for 27 years for that choice. We are taught in our country that our government is going to take care of us and do the right thing. So I think a lot of women don't understand the ramifications of what they're doing. They don't understand that even though it's legal, it's going to hurt them. They think if our government says it's legal, it should be okay. And that's why we have to speak up and say that, no, it's not okay, it's not right. We were hurt by our abortions, and we can never go back and undo that hurt.
Alan and Clayton, we just heard from Peggy's testimony, and sophomore in high school, in college, flew to New York to have an abortion, thought it was the answer to her problem, was deceived into believing it was a solution, it was legal and all those things, and cried all the way back home on that airplane. And the abortion, that abortion, started her life going in a downward spiral because she had had a couple others since then. And it wasn't until she volunteered at a crisis pregnancy center that she realized that she wasn't the only one suffering in silence, that there was.
That's right. This is sold as an easy solution, and even well-meaning family members or friends can tell the woman, well, go get an abortion, it'll take care of your problem. But they don't know the cost in emotional agony that woman's going to suffer for many, many years. If all of America knew what we've known after talking to all these women, if more women would speak out and tell the truth, fewer people would say, go get an abortion, because they don't want the woman to suffer. They think they're helping in some cases, and yet it's a doorway to pain and suffering in their life.
But, you know, 27 years, Molly. She was silent about it. She didn't talk about it. Led to a hysterectomy ultimately. Just totally, I mean, totally devastating. You know, this is quote unquote reproductive choice. There's no reproduction here.
No.
She lost the capacity to have children.
Amen.
What a devastating loss.
And we
for
hear
her.
that so much, Clayton. We hear that so much. And personally, I've had a hysterectomy as a young woman, and we've talked to many post-abortive women who've had to endure a hysterectomy prematurely, and also women who cannot get pregnant anymore after an abortion. And so there's nothing good that comes out of it.
No.
Nothing good.
And yet, like Peggy said, when someone else finally told her that they'd had an abortion too, she didn't feel alone.
Amen.
And one of the most gratifying things to me on this program is when women call us up or email or send us their affidavit and say, I felt I was alone.
Amen.
I remember a woman from Florida recently saying, I thought I was alone until I saw a woman on Operation Opera.
Amen. And that's why we're breaking the silence, because I truly believe it's because of the silence of our pain and shame and guilt over the past 31 years is why it's continued to happen, and more women falling victim to this, because of women who've been there thinking we're the only ones, keeping silent about it. It hasn't been used as an instrument of warning. Don't do this. Learn from our mistakes. You know, but now we're breaking that silence. We're talking about the shame, the pain, and the guilt, and then the forgiveness of Jesus Christ,
That's
you know,
right.
to get through it.
That's right.
And talking with other women on our helpline is a good way to carry that pain to somebody else and let them help you bear it.
Amen. It
also.
needs to be expressed
It
with
does.
someone that understands. It really does.
Talking about it really helps. Talking about it really helps.
And then we have to encourage them to seek the Lord, you know, because our true healing comes through the forgiveness of Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
And then forgiving ourselves, and then going on that healing process, because there's so many things that abortion brings into our life that we need to deal with.
Well, you know, go ahead.
It's
now.
not like another medical procedure. You don't wake up and say, forgive me to your tonsils if you remove them. But a
Exactly.
lot of women say they ask their children for forgiveness. But they really need forgiveness, don't they?
Amen.